the morning Sunday expecting to be in this situation. I got a call from Sean that wanted to talk. And so I was working out at the time. I said, okay, I'll come this afternoon. Came over. And we had a long discussion and agreed that maybe it's be a good thing right now for him, to step aside. And again, it was a mutual thing. We talked about a lot of different issues, but that's what happened. I did not wake up in the morning expecting this to happen at all. I'm not a proponent of making changes in the middle of the year. That's not what I do. But I think in this particular situation, the way Sean felt and talking to him, I think it was the right thing. And Sean is the one thing about him. He's so conscientious and so much of a UTEP guy. He's emotional, and he has a lot of feeling for this university and for the players, and he really wants to do well. I know the Mexico State game really hurt him a lot when he didn't play well there. So anyway, that's kind of the bottom line. It was just a long discussion. Both of us felt like maybe this was the right thing to do. So now we move on. I have not made a decision what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to take a little bit more time. I want to talk to the coaches individually. I want to talk to some of the players before I make this next decision. So I just don't want to rush into it. I've done a lot of thought, but that's kind of the approach we're going to take. Today what we'll do is I'm going to bring up Brian and Tom and talk about the offense and defense, what would happen in the game, and what next week is going to happen too, so we continue to at least move in that direction. So, questions?
What's the time frame?
Well, within the next couple of days, yeah. I mean, hopefully by tomorrow, And what I'll probably do first, I'll probably tell the coaches and players before I tell you. We'll put a press release out, but I think they are the ones that deserve to hear it first. So.
What's going into the decision about his comfortability, normalcy? I mean, is that part of the decision?
Well, one thing is we've got coaches in place. So we've got offense coordinator, you got defense coordinator, we've got staff. They'll continue doing exactly what they're doing. This position will be obviously a position of initial leadership for the rest of the seven games. So just take a lot of things into consideration there.
Is there any financial package as a result of Sean stepping down?
Financial package?
Compensation.
Well, he has a contract that goes through May. So.
Any particular reason why you've chosen not to make a decision right now with?
Because I haven't, in my mind, decided what is really the best thing right now for the players and the coaches. As soon as I do, I want to make sure. I actually don't want to. It's real easy just to come in and name somebody, but I just don't really want to do that right now. I want to make sure that I think about it, listen to what people have to say. Anything else?
We have a hand in, obviously, there will be a new search at the end of the season. Will you have a hand in that, or is that something that the new?
No, I think that the new athletic director will have that opportunity to make his own choice at that time. So.
You've been a head coach here before. What do you think? What does it take? Just thinking.
What does it take?
Like to be here.
Well, I think I think this is a great place. I think we got wonderful facilities. I think we have the best community in this league as far as support. Attendance is down a little bit. Why? Because you're not winning as well. But in the past we've averaged 47,000 people. So I mean that's all a possibility. We do have a real strong contingency of around 20, 25,000 people that come most of the time. We were at Army and they're only averaging 22,000 right now. So it's but again, we have much better potential for that. We have great fans. We have great facilities, great weather. The only negative thing we have here is our location. We're not close to anybody. If you're in Houston, you got 2,000 recruits within an hour's drive. Here we're pretty much limited to El Paso itself, and nothing in the community that you can really attach to. So that's probably the biggest challenge that you have. But what I've tried to do as an athletic director, I've tried to put things into place that help us, like the facilities, and so that I think what people's impression and what they think El Paso is like when they come here is completely different. When people leave here, whether it's basketball, football, other sports, they're going, wow, this is a really nice place. And the people are the best. And so anybody that they meet, they come away feeling really, really good. And some people might have a question about, safety because of what happened to Juarez before, but when they leave here, there's never a question about that. So it's a wonderful place. It really is.
What do you say to the fans that have definitely checked out on what's been going on with the football program, and how do you ensure them that they can still trust, not just yourself, but the administration, that the right decisions will be made, that the right hires will be made to not let this spiral and snowball?
Well, every school across the country, and I can name 5 other ones right now that are really struggling. They have their ups and downs, and they make decisions. And all you can say to the fans, the same thing I said, really about Tim Floyd when we lost 11 in a row last year. We didn't need to really, get down on everybody. That's when they need their support. That's when they need people to rally, because we got great people. And what happens? He wins 12 games right after that. So, what we really need to have happen, which is tough when you're not winning because people get discouraged. But it's not only here. It's every place in the country, If you're not winning, you don't get the same attendance. Plus, the other thing that's really sort of our attendance too, and nationally, is we're on television all the time. We used to be able to block out television, when we have home games. Now they're all on television. So now people have a lot more choices. They can go over to any one of the local pubs and watch it on television, and they probably have specials. And so we fight that also. But we're not the only one. Everybody in the country is kind of fighting that also. But so that's another issue with attendance. But again, what I encourage our fans to do is support the kids are working hard, the coaches are working hard, and try and make a bounce back here. I think this last game was the best game we've played by far. I think we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully we can build on that.
Bob, what's the likelihood that the coach that will finish out the rest of the season is already on staff?
It's at least 50-50 staff, or probably 85 probably or so, yeah. I would suspect. That's not normally what happens. There could be something different. There certainly could be something different, but that's the normal process.
Is there any chance of you making a comeback?
No. That's yeah. For all of you thinking that ain't happening. So no. So.
Bob, I want to make sure I've got this. I missed the first minute. The university and Kugler mutually agreed that it's best for him not to be the football coach anymore. Now, Kugler for the last 3 or 4 weeks has been in a fight, and Kugler's definitely a fighter, not a quitter. What was it that made him say, yeah, maybe it is time for me to?
No, I'm not sure. He really cares. He's very emotional. I think the coach can tell you after the Mexico State game, he was really, really, had a tough time, and everybody did because we didn't play well. But for him personally, it was more of an impact on him than normal. And I think it's just kind of been wearing on him to a certain degree. So I can't really tell you why, in his mind, but I know that he was that in talking to him, in all the different elements, we felt like this is really the best thing for both of us.
Okay, now, incoming AD, whenever that happens, does that make this less attractive or more attractive? Meaning, if I'm an incoming AD and then you went and let the coach go and didn't give me a chance to have any input on a new coach, will the new AD have an input on?
Well, this is only an interim position.
Right, but at the end of the season.
At the end of the season, the new athletic director will be in place, and then he or she will have the opportunity to either keep the current coach or hire somebody new.
Okay, but what I mean by that is if you're saying that it's not going to be, or it may not be somebody from within the staff, to have somebody come coach your team means that coach has to not be working.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if that was true. Yeah.
Right, so there's a chance that the new football coach at this school will be a coach who's not working right now.
The new coach ongoing or interim, or what are you talking about?
Well, no, that's what I think I missed what you were saying. You were saying that we'll decide tomorrow who's going to coach the team the rest of this season.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, that's
Okay,
it, yeah.
So that's probably going to be somebody on the staff.
Probably.
There's a chance it's not. So if it's not somebody that's on the staff, it has to be a coach somewhere who's not working right now.
Yeah, that would make some sense. Yes, that would certainly make some sense. Yes, that'd be
Right, so
true.
you can't pull some-
No, I'm not taking somebody from Notre Dame and bringing them over. No, they're not coming. So.
Okay, but is there a chance that you can get somebody who is currently working, maybe it's not working out for that coach at that school, and they want that person out? Either way, it has to be somebody who's not working, right? Not currently working.
Well, if somebody else other than these people, it would be somebody not working. Yeah, obviously, but that, right now, that's a true statement.
During your conversation with Sean, did you try to talk him into staying for the rest of the season?
Yeah. Yes. I don't believe in making changes in the middle of the year. So I just think it's good to finish out. And again, that was very much a strong decision, and he can tell you again that, you know, that nobody cares more for UTEP than he does, and wants to do well. That's for sure. So.
Aside from the record, what was the most disappointing part about this season from the expectations coming into it for you? And for
Well, I don't. You know, I look at all the great things that Sean's done for us. You know, I mean, he did get us the bowl game the second year. Our kids are good kids. We have the best academics we've had. So there's a lot of positives there. Nobody, I think everybody would like to see you win games, and when you don't, then you know, people are disappointed. But that's just a normal process. You know.
In your opinion, for the next coach coming in, did Sean recruit El Paso too heavily? I mean, there are some good players here, but did he go overboard with how many players he brought in?
I can't tell you. I think he's got some really good kids here from El Paso. One's just scored a touchdown for Green Bay, so that's a good example. But I'm not a good analyst. I don't know the players that well to give me an analysis of those guys. I think the coaches could probably tell you more. I think it's good-looking kids.
Who's running practice tomorrow?
2 coordinators.
You talked about the high emotion Coach Kugler had. How did the players react when he told them?
I think just like I went through the same thing when I was in college, pretty quiet, I think. You know, it's kind of a stunning. Same thing with the coaches. I mean, it's not expected. It's, you know, kind of a stunning.
You mentioned you're going to be talking to all the current coaches. Is there a criteria of what you wanted to discuss with them?
A criteria? No, I can't really name a criteria. You know, it's just going to be, you know, how I feel about it, listen to what their plans are.
You're down a couple of coaches, and the ones that remain are going to have a pretty heavy responsibility in picking up all the other assignments in particular different areas. You think they'll be able to handle it?
We're only down 1 coach. That's Brent. I mean, other than the head coach and leader, yeah. So I think we're more capable. We got some good graduate assistants too that are working.
Has anybody reached out from the national coaching pool to you?
No, not yet. What'll happen, you know, right now, it's not. Right now is not the normal time. What you'll get is all the search agents will start hitting you, you know, that type of thing this early. But once the season's done, that'll be a real rush. It always is.
Would you worry that the kids, kind of after the hearing from Coach and what he said, are going to feel that maybe they are responsible for as far as their performance?
I hope not. I mean, again, I think everybody. It's a tough business, and I think everybody goes out to do their very best. Our coaches and our players, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But hopefully that's true. I told him, and it's really the truth, the best game they had was this last week against a real difficult option team, which is really tough to defend. And we moved the ball better than we ever had. And hopefully we'll kind of build on that, the fact that we have some momentum going, that we're getting better. And if we can really look at how we can improve, that we certainly have an opportunity to win some games down the line, you know, but it's just really working harder. And I hope, again, that our fans support us, so just like we did with Tim, that we can get this thing turned around.
But from an athletics director's perspective, what makes this job not a scary one for the next person coming in? How does this not chase away some of the candidates that you already have in mind, or the school already has in mind?
Why? Because he left in the middle.
Because there's no head coach for the team.
Well, there'll be one, and they'll hustle. I mean, that's the name of the game. They'll continue recruiting, like they always have. You know, you got some tough questions to answer, obviously, but as soon as there's usually a coaching change, there's a big rush, you know, on what's going on.
You've hired a lot of coaches in your time here at UTEP specifically, and have reasonable success with basketball and football. What do you do when you interview? And not that you're going to be the one naming the new head coach, but what do you do as you interview that kind of makes that bell go off and saying this is the person?
Well, what I do when I interview any head coaching situation is rather than ask them a bunch of subjective questions, I actually ask them to go tell me exactly what you do in these departments. Tell me how you recruit, where you recruit, what do you do on the weekends, everything about recruiting. Talk about your community relations. Talk about your public speaking. Talk about your offense, your defense, your kicking game, alumni relations. Have you handled the budget before? Discipline, rules. How do you support the academic services? So we go to each one of the departments. We go down, and I want you to tell me exactly how you manage these different departments, because that's and I think that Sean found out that being a head coach is a lot different than being an assistant. And he's a great offensive line coach. I mean, he'll get snapped up back in the NFL real easily. But coaching 8 people in a specific job is a coaching job. Same thing with a coordinator. When I was offensive coordinator, all I worried about was the X's and O's. I mean, I just had dreams, and I not getting my playbook, my card before the game started. Somebody, and that's all I thought about. But when you become a head coach, it's completely different. Now you deal with managing people, managing student athletes, managing the academic side of it, talking to alumni, working with the media. I remember Terry Donahue at UCLA, when he first got UCLA, he said, the first 2 years I kept on, talking about all the things that kept me from doing my job. Then I realized that was my job. So all this dealing with the media, dealing with the academic, all the stuff, that your job changes. You're more of a manager than you are an actual X and O coach guy. You're managing people, and you're dealing with issues, and it's all over the place. On a daily basis, you're answering questions and you're directing. It's just a different job.
Well, why didn't Sean work? I mean, he has the passion for the school. He understands this area. Why didn't he work?
Why didn't Sean work?
Yeah, why wasn't he successful as a coach?
Well, I can't really nail that right now. I just know that, the second year we're on our way. We won 7 games, bowl game. Then we had a bunch of injuries the next year. So, sometimes in coaching, you can't. There's guys that have been great coaches one place and leave and go another when they've struggled, and vice versa. It's just there's no magic formula or no right answers sometimes when things aren't going well.
The fact that you don't have someone in place now, is that an indication you're kind of torn?
Yeah, a little bit. Just the fact that I just wanted to take some time. I thought about a lot last night, and then I just didn't want to rush on anything.
Did Sean mention at all someone that he would favor as being the interim head coach?
He had some recommendations, yeah.
Was it someone within
Yeah, he certainly supports his staff, yeah. If there's no other questions, I'll get Brian up first to talk about the offense, which we found a running back last game, that's for sure, and offense really got it going, and talk about that game and then the next one coming up. Weston, okay?
Apologize about the appearance. Both Tom and I found out about 15 minutes ago we were going to be addressing the media.
They should put a
Yeah.
coat and tie on. I should probably not.
So,
Just none of you guys do.
this is an extremely difficult situation, not only for our team but for our coaching staff. Me especially, I knew Coach Kugler for 21 years. He was the tight end coach here when I got recruited, and he was one of the major reasons I came to this university. I want to thank Coach Cougs for everything he did, not only for this university, but for me personally. He's a Miner, true and true. There's nobody that wanted to change this program more than he did. He spilled his heart into this. He wasn't using it as a jumping board to get to a bigger program. His main objective when he got here was to switch the program around and make it a consistent winner. He gave everything he had to it, and unfortunately, I guess it wasn't good enough. But Coach Cougs is he's been a father figure for me for a long time. He's been a mentor. He's been a confidant. He's been a close friend. He's already missed. the business the way it is, this is a tough business. Coaching's hard enough. And when you throw a wrench in it like this mid-season, it makes it a little tougher. And it's a tough deal. We're all dealing with it, and our staff's in this together. We've got an extremely tight-knit staff, and it's going to stay that way. There's not going to be any fracturing with us. Tom and I have talked about it already. We're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to stay the course, and we're going to make sure we keep this team and the coaching staff together. We've still got a lot of football to play, so moving forward, that's going to be our main goal. Talking about the Army game, I think it was really a tale of two halves. We came out in the first half, and we were able to move the ball successfully. I think you guys saw what we want to be, and it might not be the most popular thing, but it's the chance to give our guys the best opportunity to win a football game. We went into halftime tied at 14-14. We had some momentum going. We didn't have the success we wanted in the second half, but the first half we did control the clock. We ran the ball when we wanted to. We mixed in a little pass. We saw what Quadrez Wadley can do. He's an extremely strong running back. He rushed for a total of 156 yards, which is a good day at work. And our offensive line got it clicking. Our fullbacks and tight ends were blocking, and our wide receivers bought into what we're trying to get done. And that's, they're blockers number one. And in this offense, that's the way it's going to be until it's proven otherwise. But I think we took some shots. We had some success. We had some stuff called back from penalties. And really the penalties the last 2 weeks, that's something we're going to address offensively that we have to clean up. It's something that is holding us back right now. We got a touchdown called back. We had another explosive play called back. We actually had two explosive plays called back in the pass game, one to David Lucero, one to Eric Brown, that were both called back. So we had 3 plays, positive plays, that got called back. And when we're not a big passing team, when we complete 3 passes that are explosive plays, we got to take advantage of that. And we didn't. Ryan got hurt. He had a little scramble down there in the tight red zone. He got banged up a little. Don't know his status for this week, but Zach came in. I thought Zach did a nice job of handling the offense. We had some run checks that he got us in and out of. He did a good job of putting us in the right position. He was extremely efficient. He was 7 of 13. He threw the touchdown pass to David. I liked what he did in the game, and I thought at that time he gave us the best opportunity to win. Tyler Batson had a good receiving game. He had 5 catches for 80 yards, and 3 or 4 of them weren't easy catches. He went up and plucked them in the sky, took a couple shots, got knocked down, and popped right back up, which was good to see. He had a couple explosive plays. David Lucero had a touchdown pass. He had a couple other catches. And then Quadrez Wadley had a swing pass out off a check down on protection that he got us in a scoring position right before half. But overall, it's steps in the right direction. There are no moral victories. Moral victories don't work with me. We lost the game. We had an opportunity to be in it in the first half, and second half we didn't make enough plays. I think we saw the ability, and I think the offense saw the ability that we have to be a better offense, and we're going to keep making strides. And my job as a coach is to put them in the best position possible to be successful. We'll continue to do that. Looking at Western Kentucky. Coming in, they were the Conference USA champions last year. They've got 11 guys returning on defense that have started at least 1 game last year for the conference championship team. They're 4-2-5, which is a little different defense than we played in the past, so we're going to have to adjust our minds. We've been playing quite a bit of odd fronts lately. They're strong at linebacker, number 4, number 25, both good football players. 4 is their leading tackler. Secondary-wise, they've got number 7. He's a corner, and they're extremely athletic in the secondary. Number 7's got 2 interceptions. And defensive line, they're as big as we're going to see all year. They've got a 300-pound nose and a 285-pound defensive tackle, 265-pound defensive ends. They play a lot of cover 1. They're going to load the box. They're going to force us to beat them with pass, and we're going to have to throw the ball. So we will continue to run. We're going to always hang our hat on running the ball, and nobody's going to be able to talk me out of that. We're built that way. We've got the running backs. We've got our offensive line. We've got receivers that have bought in. We're going to continue to do that, and it might not be most popular, but it's what we do here at UTEP. We're always going to base it on being physical and starting with the run and using the run to set up the pass, where a lot of teams do it a little different. We've been hard at work, and this has been a tough morning for all of us. We're sitting in there trying to game plan for Western Kentucky, and, we just lost our head man. We lost our leader, and whatever happens, it's not something that I'm dying to get. There's going to be no politicking with our staff. Whatever they decide is the best situation, we're going to have to move forward. I do think we've got quality coaches on our staff, and we've got a tight-knit group that's going to do whatever it can to rally the troops these last 7 games, and we're going to do whatever we can to put a product on the field that's not only competitive but goes out there to win every single week. What's that? I knew you were going to ask that because that's your first question. We'll have to find out how Metz's availability is, and I think you know the deal there. There's no secret I'm tight with Coach, and we're not going to tell our opponent who they have to prepare for. All right, next.
Yeah, just organizationally, what has changed for you?
For me, 2 weeks ago, I was coaching the special teams and tight ends. The last 2 weeks, I've been coaching wide receivers, coordinating the offense. Nothing's going to change until I'm told different. We met this morning offensively. We started putting together our game plan. We're pretty much done with our base run game, base pass game, and we're going to continue a normal week until somebody tells us something different.
It seems like it's maybe the first time that you guys have placed a team that's gone specifically or high percentage of man. Is that something you feel that could really help out?
We've seen a lot of man this year. If you watch the games, you can see it. Teams play us in man, and we've got to win versus man coverage, and that's something we haven't done. At the skill position, we've got to run better routes. We've got to create separation, being creative with it. We've got to be good route runners, and that's something that I've been preaching the last 2 weeks, and I'll continue to preach that.
Padres got 28 carries last week.
Yeah.
How was his conditioning?
He was great. Yeah, he was great. He fell on the ball one time and just got the wind knocked out of him. He popped up. He wasn't tired at all. We'll watch him. We don't want to wear him down into the ground, but when you have a guy that's running the ball and running the ball successfully and he's not winded and he shows no signs of it and he's gotten so much stronger since he was last year, you run him. That's what you do. If he's working and he's in shape and he's not banged up and he's not tired, you run him.
Brian, Eric O'Brien from CBS Sports.
Yeah.
I haven't met you at camp.
Yeah.
What was different about your philosophy, your mentality than UTEP had coming into our game?
I don't know if it's any different than what UTEP had. I think sometimes different approaches are good, and sometimes change is good. Sometimes it's not. Every situation's a little different. I think I just stressed I want these guys to enjoy playing football. And I think you saw a little excitement in the first half with the offense it had, and that's contagious. You start doing that, and all of a sudden you see the defense rallying around it. Now you got a sideline of excitement, and that's what we have to have here.
Is the majority of that because Watley was back, or was there something else going on?
There's a few philosophical changes. We've been doing a little more running out of the gun, which is kind of my background. Not really changing schematically, but just moving the quarterback back and putting a running back on one side or another. It's not a huge change, but Wadley definitely helps. He's a difference maker. He ran for 150, whatever he did, and he looked really good.
Your name is obviously one of the top ones for the interim position. No. Is that something you want? And if so, why should you be the guy?
It's not something I really care about. And I've always been a man of my word. If somebody wants to give it to me, I'm going to take it and do my best job. I'm not going to go out there and beg for a job. And if anybody gets named, I'm going to support them. I'm a UTEP guy, too. This university matters to me. This football team matters to me. It gave me a lot in my life, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I pay back.
When a high percentage of the roster had a hand in that, what was your message to these guys in terms of trust and just continuing to fight for the past 7 years?
It's our recruiting. We're a little different. We don't have 25-person recruiting classes. That started a long time ago with the gray shirts and all that stuff. And our recruiting classes have been fairly small. Everybody recruits. It's a joint effort. We watched film as an entire staff, and we evaluated everybody. Everybody gets okayed by the entire staff. It's not one guy goes here and says, I like this guy, we got to bring him in. Everybody evaluates him not only, on the field, but as a person in the classroom, in the community, and then also when they come on their visit, we want to see how they interact with people and how they adjust. It has nothing to do with me recruiting anything. It's just our message has to be positive to these guys. This is hard. We've got 18 to 22, 23-year-old guys that just lost the guy that they looked up to, not only as a football coach, but some of them, he was their male role model. So they were shocked yesterday. They were devastated yesterday. It was a tough day. We all got with our positions yesterday right off the bat, and we made sure sure we answered any kind of questions that we had answers to, and we made sure they understood that we're here for them no matter what. And, they can come up, and it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be sad. Those emotions are normal, and I've been through that before. I lost a head coach my junior year and got Coach Nord coming in my senior year. I've done that, and I loved Coach Bailey at the time, and I loved Coach Nord at the time. So you just got to continue plugging away.
What was your reaction when you heard the news?
I found out about 4 minutes before, our entire staff found out about 4 minutes before he came and addressed the entire team. We were all shocked because I think everybody that knows Cougs knows that he's not going to quit on anything.
Was there any indication Saturday? I mean, did you see coaching any differently, or was it?
No. He pours his heart into everything he did. That's always been the way Coach Cougs has been since he was a position coach. Ever since I've known him, that's the way he's been. He is an emotional guy. There was no difference that I noticed at all.
Brian, I got a few more for you here.
Yeah.
One thing backing off that, what have you taken from Sean Kugler in your coaching?
I've taken, number one, loyalty. Okay, that's something that he's ingrained in me. And if you're loyal, loyalty is always a two-way street. And if you're not loyal to him, he's not going to be loyal to you. And that's one thing that I've taken from him. I've always been a loyal guy. That's the way I was raised. Some people are a little different, but loyalty is number one. Accountability is number two. Okay, he held these kids to a very high standard of accountability, not only on the field, but in the classroom and the community. You don't see our names on the police blogs. You see our GPA go up. You see our APR go up. There's a high level of accountability that he's held for these kids.
And then kind of the same, but piggybacking off that, if you were to be named the coach, or let's say this is an interview for the coach, describe yourself. What kind of coach are you?
I'd say I'm very similar. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do my best to put everybody in a successful position. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. It's no rule breaking or anything like that, but that's who I am. And that my dad is retired Army. He was in the Army for 27 years. That's the way of life that I grew up in. All right, there is, we play a game. His game was real life. He went to war. He fought in Vietnam. He went over to Somalia. He's done all that stuff, and he raised me the right way. Him and my mom both did.
In the final one tomorrow for practice, we've heard now that two coaches are going to be running practice. How do you approach practice? How, without your leader, how do you go about practice?
We've got to, and we have to get together. And that's the crazy thing is we're practicing in 15 hours, and we'll get together and we'll get a plan. And there's no egos. I don't have an ego. If Tom gets named it, I'm going to be the most loyal guy to him in the world. And that's the way I am. And it doesn't matter to me what happens in terms of the head coach. I do believe that we need to keep it in staff for continuity. And coach, I apologize, but I just speak the truth, and I always speak from my heart.
Going back to your running back, Rodney, it was very obvious that once he gets hit, he's still able to pick up another 3 to 4 yards.
Right.
That's pretty important for running backs. You think you can instill that in the other guys?
Yeah. I mean, he's put on 20 pounds, and he's still just as fast, and he's strong. And when everybody else was out there running, he was lifting weights and working on getting strong. And he was pretty skinny last year, and he's able to take a hit and spin off of it. And he's explosive. He's got real good vision. He's got good balance. He's got all the qualities you want in a good running back.
Regarding Ryan, he was able to go this weekend. Do you kind of sit him down and try to keep that shoulder from essentially getting put into a position where you're going head first into a tackle?
Yeah, no question. We've got to work with him on sliding, and he's been pretty good at that. He had 2 opportunities to take a foot-first slide, and one of them he almost tripped and landed on his head, and the other one he got hit. And they're unnecessary hits that he doesn't need to take. And we just got to continue drilling it. And a lot has to do with reads. A lot has to do with receivers getting open, creating separation. But, he's smart in terms of he knows what he has to do. We just got to get in the heat of the battle. All of a sudden, all these bodies are flying around. He's got to realize it's not a bad thing to slide feet first. Questions? Yep.
Well, I just want to say it was a shock, and I really appreciated the opportunity I had to work with Sean Kugler. I thought he was a quality guy. Obviously, I'm a little bit older coach, and I know, what the qualities that Sean brought to the program. And, I really appreciated the things he did for the kids, and that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Is graduating these kids. It's about keeping a program from self-destructing. You know, you read that stuff all over in the paper or on the blogs or whatever on the internet about these programs self-destructing, and Cougs ran a quality program. I was really surprised when he hung it up yesterday, but you know, I've been in that situation before, and sometimes as a head coach, just the losses start to weigh on you, and it gets to the point where sometimes you have to step down and step aside. And you know, I hated to see it happen. I really did, but you know, I really appreciate my time with Coach Kugler.
So you guys this season, obviously, you have your hands full with different teams. What are you continuing to try to do?
Well, my philosophy is just get better every game. Obviously, we're really young on the defensive line. We're starting 3 freshmen there at times, and you know, we've got some experienced linebackers. I thought our secondary has been playing pretty well, but you got to be realistic about it too. I mean, Oklahoma probably the best team in the country. Arizona's a little better than people thought they were. You know, that game last week in Army, I thought our kids played extremely well. We had about 4 breakdowns, but that's what happens when you play the option. And we don't see that option. We get 3 days to prepare for it. This is probably about the 5th time I've coached against one of the academy schools, and that's tough duty because you're never going to play this defense again the rest of the year. Now we've got to transition into a spread offense. So there's some challenges to it, but, you know, that's what we signed up for, too.
Building off that on the spread offense, how do you go against Western Kentucky, a high-flying team like that?
Well, you just got to, you know, you're going to go up and we're prepared for that. That's what we built this defense around, defending the spread offenses. I think I'm known as one of the better spread coordinators in the country, and you go back and you got to redo what you've been doing all along, and that's the hardest thing is transition. I know when I was at SMU, we'd play Navy and then turn around and play Houston the next week, and you know, you got some challenges there. That you go from 6 yards in a cloud of dust. You got to defend everything on the field, and you got to defend speed, and that's the challenge you got. But I think our kids are going to be fine with it. You know, we're more wired for that than we are the option. That's for sure.
You didn't have much success closing down the dive with the fullback. He was averaging like almost 6 yards a carry, and then they kind of went outside to the tackles and were able to have some success there.
Right, that's what I thought. I mean, we were going in that game plan, taking them out of what they wanted to do as an offense, and we always talk about having those guys playing left-handed, and we had them playing left-handed for quite a while, but at the end of the day, that option football, you have one guy break down, and it was like that second touchdown. We had one kid who's supposed to be on a pitch, the quarterback's out there, and he didn't have the patience, so he took the quarterback, and all of a sudden the pitch scores on you. So that's the challenges you have with it, and I thought our kids did a really good job with that. I was really proud of Trace Mascaro. I mean, he played really well for a freshman in that kind of game, and I was worried going in. There was young D linemen. That's a whole other world in there.
Looking at creating the pass rush, particularly against Western Kentucky, has been kind of a downfall of the defense.
Right.
Is it about just hitting on blitzes, executing with technique, and winning your one-on-one battles? If there's something maybe schematically you have to be a little bit more aggressive with your blitz percentage?
Well, I think I got to be a little more aggressive. You know, really what happened this year is we got a lot of young kids playing and a lot of new kids in the defense, and those kids couldn't run the system as well as it should be, so I had to pare back some of the pressures that we're running. And now I can start to pick it back up a little bit. We won't get too crazy with it this weekend, but as this thing progresses, we got 7 games left. We'll build that blitz package more and more, but you know, this thing's built on pressure. This is what we do, and we're going to pressure those guys, and you know, I hope they know it. I want them to know that they're coming in, they're going to get blitzed.
Could you talk a little more about Masimoto's and how you feel about him? I mean, he's just a tremendous player.
He is. He's one of the better freshmen I've seen in a long time. One of the things about him is he was a state powerlift champion, and we were really recruiting Colby, and we saw this kid on film, and I said, boy, this kid's pretty good. You know, the thing you always worry about when you're recruiting a shorter kid is, does he have long arms? He got 36-inch arms. So really, he's 6 foot tall, but he's going to play at about 6'4" with those arms. And then he's a really incredible athlete for a young kid. I mean, the guys that are going to get him a UTEP down the road are going to be really excited to have that kid. He's going to be a great football player, and he's tough. You know, and that's what I want. I want tough kids, and he's tough.
You've obviously been in these challenges before in terms of like recruiting.
Right.
You guys still have to go after people.
Sure.
Who might not be next.
Right. That's one of the challenges you have anytime you're in this situation. And you know, I've been coaching a long time, and this is the fourth time that I've had a coach leave during the middle of the season, and you just go about your business. The thing you got to do is you got to get normalcy for the players and the coaches. You go about your business. You know at the end of the year you're probably not going to be here, but we were hired by the University of Texas El Paso, and we got to represent that university, and we got to do what coaches do, and that's the professionalism of being in this, and that's what we got to do from here on out. I mean, we're going to recruit just like we would if we were going to be here, but you know, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to be, but that's what you signed up for. I mean, that's just business right now. I don't like it, you know, that part of it, but, you know, people want instant gratification, and you're not at a program like that. You're not at Alabama. You know, you can build something good here. I think this is a big-time opportunity for a program. I see this. I went into Boise, Idaho in 1992, and it was exactly the same. And you can do it at El Paso. I really believe that. And all you got to do is sell those kids. You get out of East Texas, you get in those metroplexes, you find those right recruits, you'll get those kids to come here.
Tom, when the season started, looking at this point, where did you think you guys were going to be?
Well, you never know how a season's going to unfold. You know, the first part of the season, I knew it was going to be tough. When you open with Oklahoma, hopefully you can convince your kids that, hey, this is just a game. We're going in and give it our best shot. You know, one for the Gipper type deal. And then you just don't know how a season's going to unfold with injuries, those kind of things. To me, you play a season one game at a time. And we still got 7 games left. I told kids yesterday, I said, hell, all we got to do is win 6 games, and we're in a bowl game. We got 7 opportunities to do that, and there really isn't a team left on the schedule, if you looked at it on paper, that you say you couldn't beat.
Have the injuries just been too much to overcome from the Rice game?
Well, that's always a problem. You know, injuries at quarterback. That's the key to any football program is how well your quarterback plays. I've been in it long enough to know that guy runs the show. And if that quarterback gets hurt, you've got some problems in the program. And then maybe you don't have enough guys to overcome it. And that's part of it. So, you know, you got to deal with it, though. That's part of it.
And then I'll rattle off the same questions that I asked Brian. Interim job, you are one of the leading candidates just from our perspective. Is that something that you want?
You know, I never say I want that. It's something, if it happens, it happens. I'll do the best job I can possibly do. I've done it before twice. One thing I do know about that job is you got to get those kids stable. You got to give them a routine that they got to do. And really what you're a guardian of the program until the end of the season, until the administration decides what direction they're going to go. But you got to keep that program together. You got to keep your coaches together. We got 3-4 guys on the staff that could do a great job of doing that. It doesn't matter. And what I want to see is I want to see the staff stay together. I don't need a guy coming in from the outside. The biggest challenge that would be the time management thing. What time's practice? Who's the trainer? Who's the equipment guy? When does the bus leave? All that crap, you know. So what I want to see is I want to see somebody on the staff get it, obviously, and then let's go to work. I mean, that's what we got to do. We're under contract. We got 8 weeks left. Let's see if we can win 5 or 6.
Let me piggyback on that last one for a second. Because how do you keep this team focused when they don't just pack it in and play out your last? Well,
that's always the biggest challenge. You know, being the interim guy, that's the challenge you got. And really what you got to do is you got to give those guys something to fight for. It's small wins. It's improvement every week. Maybe it's not a win, but you keep getting better. And the kids start feeling better about themselves. Thing they're looking for right now, and the best thing that'll heal those kids is get out on practice field. Get through practice, get them in the meetings, get things back to normal for them. And that's a hard thing. But if you do that, I mean, I look at that deal I did at SMU. Those kids fought till the last game of the season. We ended up going up to UConn in a game we probably should have got beat bad, and we ended up winning the game. And that was one of the biggest wins of my coaching career, and I've been in it 39 years now. So yeah, I enjoyed that more than anything. And we were horrible. So, yeah, we were bad. What's that?
When was the other time around, Coach? SMU and where?
At Boise. Yeah, our head coach got cancer diagnosed about the 3rd day of doubles. So I took over. That would have been 1996.
You know, the rest of your schedule, you have actually every team that went to a bowl game.
Sure.
Won that bowl game. So, I mean, the boys will be tested, no doubt about it. So you would figure that they would buy in and say, like you said, if you could pull out the next, 5-6 games on some victories, it would be saying a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we're not a bad football team. You saw that in spurts on Saturday. It's about getting the kids to believe in what they're doing all the time and getting the kids to just keep getting better. You know, it's a long haul. That season goes a long ways, and you want to be a pretty good football team going into November. And maybe we can pick off a couple wins here, 2 or 3 wins here in October, and all of a sudden you get 3 wins, and then the kids start believing in what you're doing. You know, Natty did a great job with that offense. I mean, I was excited. I'm sitting in the press box, and I'm their biggest cheerleader. Hey, keep that ball. I don't need to see that option quarterback back out on the field now. You know, and he did a great job of that. I think we had maybe 6 snaps in the first quarter. And so, you know, I thought he did a great job getting that offense rallied around him, and those kids are going to continue to get better. So, you know, if you grow and keep growing, you're going to be okay.
Is there any bigger wake-up call to a player than his head coach being let go or stepping down, I guess?
Say that again?
Is there any bigger wake-up call to a player than a change in the head coaching position?
Yeah, that's always hard on the kids. You know, the biggest thing is he's been their leader forever. And Cougs is one of those guys, he's a strong leader now. When he walks in a room, he commands respect, especially if you're 18 to 22-year-old guy. You're not going to challenge Sean Kugler now. And those kids respected him from a father standpoint, from an authority standpoint, and that's hard on them. So, yeah, that's hard on those kids, but those kids also got to know there's going to be things in life that happen like that, and you've got to recover and move on. And that's what we got to do right now. We got to move on.
Talk a little bit about Mike White.
What's that?
Mike White, is he one of the better quarterbacks you're going to see?
I think so. Yeah, I really like the way he throws the ball. You know, I always chart the quarterbacks where their completions are on the field and where they like to throw the ball. And we had some real tendencies on the quarterback from Arizona, but this kid, he throws the ball all over the field, and I think he's got a strong arm. He's an NFL prototype quarterback. I think he's really a good one of the better ones we'll see this year, except maybe the Oklahoma kid now. That kid's special.
Tom, what qualities do you bring to the interim position if you are considering?
I don't know. You know, the biggest thing I think is I bring experience, and I've been around a lot of programs, and I've done it before. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. I'm a player's coach, always have been. You know, you talk to any of the players. I'm not an ego guy. I'm not in it. I'm not trying to build a resume anymore. You know, maybe I was when I was 35, but I'm in it for the kids. I'm in it for the program. I'm in it for the coaching staff. We got a great coaching staff here. People don't realize that. We got really quality guys here. And whatever it's going to take from any of us to get this thing done and keep this thing right, that's what it's going to be.
Coach, what would you have to say? You've talked about the players and you've talked about the coaching staff. What would you want to let the fans know going forward?
Well, we need their help. That's the thing. I mean, you guys want to get this thing going, put 40,000 in the Sun Bowl Saturday night. You'll see them kids play hard now. They're going to come out. They're going to be excited. They're going to play hard if you do that. Now, they come out and there's 10,000 people. That's a little hard to get excited about. I mean, that was one of the challenges we had when I was at SMU. We play a team that we played for the conference championship the year before, and there's 7,500 people in there. There was more people at the kids' high school games than that. So, you know, if people at El Paso want to get behind this team, fill that stadium up and get behind them, and you'll see those kids really play hard. I'll guarantee that.
How difficult has it been for the coaching staff, since really now you're 2 coaches down from what you were 2 weeks ago?
You know, this is a great staff, and we got a lot of football knowledge on this staff. I don't think it's been a big deal. I hated to lose Cougs, Peas. You know, I don't know what happened there. I try to just coach the defense and keep my nose out of the rest of that stuff, which that's the way it should be. But, you know, we're going to move on, and you look at the experience on this staff, and it's good. And we're together. That's the best thing. I've been on some staffs that are divided, and that is no fun. So, you know, this staff is together, and we're going to be, till the end of November, we're going to be together. And then what happens, happens. Who knows? I ain't got a crystal ball. Anything else? Thank you.